So with it the way it was the last time we went to the track trying to spray the 300 shot, after we went from the 50/50 shocks to the QA1 double adjustables, you'll see the rear end's not able to separate it hardly at all.
Then I jacked it up. I got it on the frame right there on both sides. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna unscrew this and make sure that this extension here is not bottomed out all the way at the top. Because if this bottoms out, then it's going to unload the tire. So I don't think it'd do that if we tighten the rebound up, not let it travel that far. But I'm going to check and see how much more this will go up with the rear end just hanging. Alright, so I loosened these as much as I could. So I can move this up and down like that. And the question was, is this long enough for the travel of the rear end? The answer is a good 2 3/4 inches, no. So we're gonna have to figure something out with that because that's too much. The rear end's trying to separate, and then it's hitting the shock, and then it's unloading the tire. So we're going to have to figure out something with that. All right, so these are the 50/50s we had in it. And then, look there. It's about 2 inches. They're about 2 inches longer. You got to figure in the middle of that to the middle of that, it's about 2 inches.
So before, this car hooked pretty good with these 50/50 shocks on there, and the reason for that is because it had 2 more inches of extension travel and wasn't bottoming out the shock.
All right, out in the carport garage today, I'm trying to figure out why this Trans Am is spinning the tires so bad after we went from just a 50/50 stock top shock to these double adjustable QA1 Stalker Stars. And I think I figured out why. So these, there's only about 6 3/4 inches of travel in these shocks, and the car's loaded up on the rear end about at what the ride height would be. And look here, well, we got about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 of downward travel.
Now, a smarter man would have took these measurements before they ordered shocks, but we're not that smart. But now, we thought the car was at stock ride height, so we just ordered the shocks that were meant for this car.
So when you take off on these cars, pretend this is the body, this is the rear end. When you take off, the rear end tries to plane itself. Well, I think what was happening was it's trying to extend and plane itself, then the shock would bottom out, and then the back of the car would try to bunny hop. I think that's what the problem is. Now, there's no question about it. The tire pressure, we'd probably do a little bit better with that. Probably ran the tire pressure a little too low. And all 4 corners could be tightened up. But this needs to be fixed too. This ain't going to work. We need that extension so the rear end can push down and plant the tire. It was hitting the tire really hard because the rebound was too loose, and it was hitting the tire really hard, and then it extended the shock, and then it would try to bunny hop the rear tire. So I mean, with the front settings the same, we had those 50/50s on here, and it worked. And the reason it worked is because the 50/50 shocks, they're 2 inches longer. Plus and most of the 2 inches was in the travel. The size of the shock itself was about the same size. It just had 2 more inches of travel here. So it had 3 inches of extension that it rebound whatever it could go down and plant the tire. And that's why those work, and these ain't working because it's only got like 1.5 inches. As soon as it hits the tire and pushes the rear end down, boom, it hits the shock. The shock extends all the way out, and then boom, it bunny hops the tire. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some 3-inch extensions to go up here, so the shock will be more like about right there. No, let's measure that. Look at that. I hit that dead on the nose. You believe that? Where are the odds? So this has 6 3/4 total travel. So there's 2 1/4. What's that leave us? 4 1/2? Yeah, that would leave us 4 1/2. Actually, I know a lot of people that at ride height, they only want about 1 inch of this showing. We got a 2 1/4. Yeah, about 2 1/4. And then 6 3/4 all overall, that'd give us 4 1/2 of downward travel, and that would work fine. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to tighten up the compression and rebound on all 4 corners. But the first thing to do is to get that extender in there. And then on the tire pressure, we'll probably run about 15, 16 pounds. But yeah, that's how we're going to fix the issue with this. I posted on that Leaf Spring page on Facebook, and a lot of people were saying tighten up the front end. Well, the front end was the same as it's always been with the 50/50s that had 2 more inches of travel, and it worked. So I think this is the issue. I think the shock, I think it's trying to push the rear end down. It's only getting to move about 1.5 inches, and boom, it maxes out, blows the tire off. I think that's the problem. Because honestly, this car with this suspension should be able to hook and drag the bumper. But there's no way it'll do that if the rear end's pushing down and maxing the shock out. Alright, the extenders came in. These are 3-inch extenders. This is what we're going to use to get more extension in the rear end so the shocks don't bottom out. This should be perfect because with the rear end hanging, it was 2.75 inches. So this will give us 3 inches. And it'll give us about 4 3/4 inch extension travel. And it'll give us about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of compression travel, which should be perfect. And these are from McBabe Performance. They're on eBay, they're on Amazon. McBabe Performance. I'm not sure exactly what site Christopher got these from, but yeah, again, Amazon, eBay has them. And they're just 3-inch billet aluminum extenders. That's how it goes. Now I don't know if we need to use them nuts in the top because his screw in with the same, it's the same size thread. I already checked it. So I'm thinking we could probably just not have to use the washer or the nuts and bolts, because honestly I don't think you can get your hand in there to get a nut and bolt in there, but we'll see. So reading over the directions here, it does say discard nut and some washers if not needed. So yeah, we won't need those. These fit the stock mount threads. So yeah. Look at there, I've already got a spider web in here. It's a big one too. Can't see it all on camera, but so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna extend the shock all the way up, take a measurement, because after we put these on, we're gonna unload the rear end. We're gonna brace it from the body instead of with those jack stands. We'll brace it from the body and make sure that it's not extending all the way out. So to get that measurement, I couldn't pull that up high enough. So I went ahead and unloaded the rear end. It's supported from the frame now instead of the rear end itself. And now we can get that measurement. There we go. Oops. Had to set the phone down to extend this out. Six and 5/8. Right at 6 and 5/8. Now, let's put the extender in there. Boy, I tell you what, getting all that to line up in there was not easy. You can't hardly get your fingers up in there. But anyway, here's where we're at. We got right at 5 3/4. So even with the rear end fully hanging, we still got almost an inch, like 5/8. And the leaf springs can, if I remember correctly, didn't we measure 6 3/8? Yeah, that'd be 5/8. So the leaf springs can still push down from just the hanging height. So I mean, that's going to be perfect. And loaded up, we already know that we're going to be about right there. And where them bolts are so long, I questioned how sturdy it would be, but that's sturdy. So yeah, we'll do the other side just like that. Chris is back into town. I just got out of bed next weekend, and we're probably going to go to that Cincy Street Nights next weekend. So, and we're going to use a 100 shot and just run the 650 index and the 1150 on motor. And I'm going to put the settings back where I had it, because on the 100 shot, even without all that extension, it launched fine with these double adjustables. So I'm going to put it back where, I'm going to put everything back where it was. And we're going to send it on those settings with these extensions on the 100 shot. Now, on the 300 shot, we're going to have to tighten it all back up. The rebound and the compression on all four corners. So here's QA1's recommendations. Drag racing, shocks with 1 adjustment knob, shocks with 2 adjustment knobs. So that would be the front shock, double adjustable. So I'm going to put the front, let's see, 12, 18, 6, 3, and put the compression at 15, the rebound at 3. Now when we run prep track and we're trying to spray it all off the line, I'm going to put compression at 18 and rebound at 6. I'm going to put it at the higher, what they recommend. And then the rear shock, drag racing, 1 adjustment knob, 2 adjustment knobs over here. I'm going to put the compression at 3 and the rebound at 7. And then we're on a prep track. I'm going to put the compression at 6 and the rebound at 10. And then we'll just experiment from there. But I'm no expert on these double adjustable shocks, so we're just going to have to learn as we go. But that's, I'm going to do the other side. Oh, and one last thing. Look how much we got now. Before, the tire would only come this low. Look at it now. Huge difference. I think that's going to work. And that's how much left is showing on the driver's side. And that's how much is showing on the passenger side. And that's with the car at ride height. And no passenger. It'll go down a little bit. But I think that's going to work perfect. And that's going to conclude this video. So y'all like and subscribe. Any helpful information, hit the comments. But I'm going to post the video of it on a 100 shot with the medium settings I just recommend, or those medium seconds I just went up, medium settings. The recommended settings, I split them right down the middle, and that's what I did on that 100 shot pass. But here's that video of that. But that'll end the video, and y'all like and subscribe and have a great day.